It's funny when you guys in the ring. One time we'd been over there, and it was the usual 2-week tour. We'd go a week in England and then a week in Germany, back to back, whichever country was first.
Right.
I don't remember, but on about day 10, guys are pretty hammered. We've been, I've been drinking pretty much, and we're working our ass off. And I was out there working with Big Boss Man, whose real name was Ray Traylor, and Ray was one of the biggest sweethearts who ever was in the business. And he had a good left hand. He could knock a dog shit out of you. And Ray was a little off that night. And he lit me up with about 6 or 7 potatoes during the course of that match. And I was always very patient. When a guy was a little bit snug with me, it took me a long time to send back that receipt. And finally, after about number 7, I looked over at Earl, and Earl kind of had that shit-eating grin on his face, and I looked at him, and he knew that I was about to go ahead and send one back. And I sent old Ray in, and I just grabbed him by his arm, and I said, "Watch the clothesline." And old Ray hit the ropes, and here he comes running back across the ring, and I didn't hit that summit with a clothesline. I balled up my fist on my right arm, and I hit that summit square in the forehead as hard as I could with my forearm, and knocked him down to his knees, and it was like almost just like a cartoon on a Saturday morning. You could see the stars over his head, and he knew what was up. He had lit my ass up, and I gave him a big-ass receipt, and he just looked at me, and, he was such a sweetheart, and he was a big guy, and he just looked at me with a smile on his face, and he goes,
"Let me tell you something, I love that guy."
I know, but he just looked at me, and he goes, "Okay." And he got it, and he didn't touch me for the rest of the damn match. And that was just a classic story from a sweetheart in the business.
Yeah, and Ray was, and man, God bless him. And but he hit you two times too many potatoes. How many? You know what? I'm not here to have a potato dinner. Come on, cut it out.
I got a call from Vince McMahon at one point. Wanted to know what was going on with you.
What was going on with me?
It was just one of those, you've had a couple stretches of time where Vince wasn't quite sure what was going on in your head, and you were having your issues, and he called me up, and he's like, Wade, I'm not going to be presumptuous. I'm not asking who you talk to or anything like that, but what are you hearing about what's going on in Steve's head these days? Because I'm trying to figure him out, and of course he always starts by going, "You're not recording me, are you?"
Yeah.
And then we had a good, 45-minute talk about you. And so, and he's called a few times over. So yeah, people will call and they don't know who to believe sometimes in their own company, and they can tell from reading the newsletter, oh, Wade's talking to a lot of people, and they're probably telling him more of the truth than they're telling me because for whatever reason, politics, bullshit, wrestling, whatever. And so sometimes people call me up, wrestlers, promoters, whatever, they have a beef with something I said, or they're curious to know, I know you can't tell me who told you that, but can you fill me in a little bit more? What's going on? Wrestlers will call me up and go, they offered me this much money on my contract. What are you hearing about pay?
Right.
I can't ask my friends. That seems infringing, but you seem to have your pulse on, from a contact in the front office or whatever. You seem to have a pulse on what guys are getting paid. Is this a fair offer? I'm not sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not sure if I answered your question, but.
No, yeah, but interesting. It's interesting because back in the day, you and I talked just a handful of times.
Yeah.
But so I guess Vince was calling you through word on the street, or he just figured you would know?
Well, I think I had been reporting. He got either read the torch or he's getting reports from somebody,
right?
Detailing what I was saying. And again, if I knew the exact year, you could probably place what was going on. But you know what? It might have been there was something regarding Big Boss Man. And do you remember? You know what I'm talking about?
No, the one time when he was supposed to do a run-in on a pay-per-view match, and he was supposed to hit me with the chair to cause the loss, and so he was in the back shooting the breeze with the Undertaker, and he was going to be in a major angle with me, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I was hot. I was white hot in the business. So there we are in the middle of the match. I'm waiting to get hit with the steel chair from Big Boss Man. No one's there to hit me with the steel chair. Certainly not Big Boss Man, so they call an audible. Here comes Jerry Briscoe. And I love Jerry Briscoe to death. He's one of my all-time favorite agents. But just because they needed someone else to do it, Jerry comes out of Gorilla and hits me with this little dinky chair shot because, those old school guys didn't throw good chair shots because they never really threw a whole lot. They were such good workers. They did all their stuff and, got their heat in the ring. Didn't need to use a steel chair. So anyway, Jerry hits me with the steel chair. I go down because that's what the call was. Somebody pins me. I can't remember who it was, but I do believe it was at St. Louis at the Kill Center. And 1, 2, 3, the angle, I'm fixing to run off and do business with Big Boss Man if he uses a steel chair and screws me. So anyway, I finally make my way, exit out of the squared circle, go to the back with the boys, and there's Big Boss Man. And I love Ray Traylor to death. He's one of the nicest guys that I ever met in the business. And I cussed him up and down because he missed his cue, and we were going to, draw money together. So, no, that was the only issue I had with Ray. I absolutely love that guy to death. But that's funny that Vince would call him. Again, at certain points in my career, I was running pretty hard, just carousing and staying out late. But I always tried to do business. It's interesting.